Okay, Lightworker, while we're waiting for Erin to call, let me just tell you something. Some women walk into a room and you feel them before they say a word. That's the vibe. Today's guest is Erin Lyons, and what I love already is that she carries this beautiful mix of glam, clarity, presence, and real spiritual command. She's built a platform around quantum healing, soul purpose, visibility, and spiritual leadership, and she hosts her own podcast too. But here's the interesting thing. She comes from a finance and wealth management background, which to me is always fascinating when spirit gets a hold of a woman with that kind of grounded brilliance. And here's where I want to go today. Not just the success or the brand, or as you'll see, the beautiful, polished rock star energy. I want to talk about what happens when a powerful woman enters a whole new season of their life. Because Erin is also now a mommy, and that definitely changes the business room. It changes the rhythm, it changes what matters and what gets protected and what gets simplified. And I also just want to say this out loud for every lightworker listening. Sometimes we meet a woman who is so clear, so self-possessed, so in her lane that it stretches us in the best way. It reminds us that power doesn't need to wait. You're never too young to be deeply anointed, and you are absolutely never too old to expand into more of who you came here to be. So today, I'm coming to this FaceTime call with admiration, curiosity, and maybe just a tiny little bit of intimidation, which honestly usually means it's going to be a good one. Oh, there she is. Hey, Erin, how are you?
Hi, so great to see you. How are you? I'm great.
I'm doing really well, and I am so glad that you were able to make some time to be with us today. I mean, I just got to tell you, Erin, every time I see you, you look like you just walked out of a campaign shoot.
You are so sweet. Thank you so much. I figure if I look good, I feel good because I'm managing a little baby at home. So it just adds a little spark to my
And,
life.
and good advice, even if you're not managing a baby, right? If you look good, you feel good, such great advice. Well, for those of you watching, Erin, who's hanging out with us today, is a psychic channel, a shaman, a quantum mentor. I mean, she's got a whole list here. Podcast host, former Wall Street wealth advisor turned spiritual leader. She's created offerings around psychic development, visibility, quantum healing, soul-aligned business. I mean, people clearly resonate with her voice in a really big way. And before we dive in, could you just give us like the 20-second version of anything that I missed right there?
Oh, no, that's phenomenal. But just to ground it a little bit, all the terms and labels, what does it even mean? I help people collapse time and access what they would call their highest timeline, which for me means joy, abundance, and more love in their lives.
And who doesn't need that, right? I mean, that's what I believe we're all here to experience. And so, what are you working on right now, Erin, that feels most alive in your spirit?
So I just opened a spiritual wellness studio and center here in San Diego, in Del Mar specifically, Del Mar, California. And I'm really excited about it because after years of being more so online, it feels really good to get people in a physical space and focus on their healing and well-being, but also community. So that's been a focal point for me over the last few months.
And that's a lot. I mean, I have a studio space here, and that's a lot. So I can understand how that would be a big focus for you. When I look at your brand and your visuals, which are very impressive, and your message, your delivery, I got to say, Erin, there's like this real star quality about you. Did being seen always feel so natural to you, or was that something that you had to grow into?
I would say I had to grow into it because when you feel so connected to spirit, and you feel so much power, you can feel like that power may be too much or
Mm.
overwhelming for others. So it took me some time to feel comfortable being seen in so much light and so much power. I think like most people, I wanted to sort of hide or be in the background or be behind the scenes, and I had to just accept you're a leader and your voice has the power to impact people. So I allowed my purpose and my mission to overpower any insecurities or fear of being seen.
So you obviously had to shift something internally, right? For that visibility to match your power. Like, did you have any type of exercise that you went through or a way of speaking to yourself?
It was an internal shift of realizing none of this work is about me. It's so much bigger than me. And so source energy, my spiritual guides, the energies that I connect with helped me to see the bigger picture, more so the ripple effect of me saying yes to this calling, which overpowered the ego or the fear of being rejected or insecurities, because oftentimes people think, oh, you must have never experienced fear and you just hopped into it. And it's no, the fear was still there, but the purpose overpowered it, because it meant more to me to impact other people than focus on myself.
What a great answer. Because I know so many, I like to refer to them as light workers in our community. You know, they crave that impact. They really want to have an impact, a positive impact on the planet, but they're actually like mentally negotiating with that stepping into their own bigness. And I love how you just phrased that about how it's not about you. You know, how you were able to focus in on it was about the greater message. That's so cool. So you've shared that, you know, and I think this is something that makes you very unique in the spiritual space, especially that you came from Wall Street and you had a finance degree from Michigan State. You worked years, I think is correct in saying, as a licensed stockbroker and a wealth manager. And then eventually you stepped fully into your spiritual gifts. Like, can you talk about that eventually? Like, did you wake up all of a sudden? What did that transition teach you about identity? Because you were definitely moving. I mean, that's a strong identity, right?
Yes, for sure. Sure. I really started to feel like the container that was Wall Street was limiting my expression, because there were so many ways that I was trying to impact the community, meaning I would do wealth management seminars for women, wealth management seminars for groups that were focused on mindfulness. So I was trying to connect money, psychology, and mindfulness in this, like, it was very intentional. I knew what I was doing, but there was only so much I could do. So spirit started showing me, well, as long as you're working in this box, you will be limited. And so that's when I knew I had to do something differently. Because when you are working for a large financial institution, you also can't have your personal brand. You can't go out and speak about things that are off topic, or you can't do podcasts. You can, it's very streamlined in terms of how they want you speaking and being a representation of the company. So it just started to feel like it was weighing me down, and I knew I had to make a shift. But contrary to what most people believe, my time on Wall Street was phenomenal, because I went in already in this awareness that I'm the creator of my reality. So I never experienced it as being like a yucky place or a victim, or I hate money like so many people do, or I hate capitalism. So that in itself made my experience very unique. And then it was just time to say, okay, now it's time to teach other people how to perceive and approach reality in this way, no matter what their job or career is.
I always really love my conversations with especially women who have stepped into a spiritual business from a very grounded, like wealth management or really any type of business environment, especially when it's corporate. And I'm just curious as to what part of your past finance life do you find still serves you now?
Well, in the type of work that I did, wealth management and private equity, it was also extremely entrepreneurial. So you are essentially building your own book of business. You are magnetizing and manifesting your own clients. So by the time I got into my public spiritual work, a lot of the principles around self managing my schedule, right? So self discipline, structure, being really balanced in masculine and feminine energy served me well and still does, because it's very easy as an entrepreneur to uh, lose focus or lose sight of the direction because no one's telling you do this or do that. So that really helped me. And then I would say on the manifestation end of it, so the feminine side, um, getting so much experience with confidently promoting myself, trusting in the universe, knowing that sales is really about frequency. Sales is really about how you feel about your product or what you're offering. So it really was like a training grounds that the universe had me experiencing before this work.
I love that. And it also shows people out there that you don't have to choose between, the spiritual world and the grounded business world, that they really work hand in hand.
That's balance, and I actually see that as true mastery when you are grounded in this energetic dimension while simultaneously being in higher consciousness, and that is manifestation. That's the birthing of the reality.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful, and that's so profound, the birthing of the reality, because like when I look at you and I think about your background, I think that, so many women who meet you now may not realize how powerful those earlier experiences are in playing into the success of your business. Because a lot of times people see entrepreneurs, spiritual entrepreneurs in the world as successful, but not realizing that in the back of your business, it's still a business.
Totally. I always say I am still working in the back end of my business. I still don't have the privilege of being totally hands off because there's always so much to do. Um, you know how it is. There's just always so a ton to do, and I am never afraid to like roll up the sleeves, and I'm doing everything when it needs to be done. So absolutely, being in that grounded world of corporate and business, even in that business it was the same thing. I had to know how to do something as simple as respond to a client's email or send a wire. And yes, I had an assistant, but when things need to get going and the needle needs to be moving, it's great for you to have all of these skills. And so I still operate like that today. It is very much so functions as a real business in the background.
And I'm just curious. So when you were in your wealth management world, did spirituality play into that as well?
Oh, 100%. I mean, spirituality was the reason why I was able to manifest that career and be successful. And so that's why my true core intention was always that eventually I was going to have this opportunity to talk about spirituality. So in my mind, I thought, okay, I'm going to go to Wall Street. I'm going to become a top wealth manager. I'm going to manage all these assets and be so successful. And then when they ask me, how did you do it? I'm going to say, you ever heard of manifestation or about the laws of the universe? But so it's always so funny to me how um spirit created this shortcut. Like, no, 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 you're not waiting until the opportunity to talk about spirituality. The path is going to be spirituality itself, talking about that, embodying that, and teaching that. So it really caught me by surprise how everything turned out. But I was channeling, I was hearing the voice of spirit. Everything was so guided by my spirituality during that time of my life.
And I think that's important because there's a lot of people out there that may be working in a situation that they wouldn't consider a spiritual business, but yet they are using their spirituality. And so I think it's really good for people to hear that, you were doing that before you decided to become an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Okay, so Erin, I've been wanting to talk to you about this.
Okay.
I know that you are, I think you said earlier, a mommy to a 17 or 19-month-old, right? This is like a new mommy season for you.
Yeah.
And I want to know, how has having a baby in the house and in your heart changed your relationship, if at any, with ambition, success, and your energy?
Phenomenal question. I really struggled the first couple of months because I was so used to working all the time, anytime. And so you go from being so obsessed and focused on this business, your purpose, your mission, and now you've got this little baby to take care of. And so your focus is always being broken, your train of thought, or just this urge to always be working in the business. And so I had to learn how to surrender in the moments that I can't give all of my energy and attention to the business. I have to give my energy and attention to my child and just say, okay, we're putting it down now and we have to focus on the baby. And so that was really difficult. But when I look back, I can actually see how much I was working, and it wasn't necessary, meaning you can find ways to create more rest, more ease, more leisure, more time with family, and still be productive. And so I've learned to set my schedule up in a way where I have time to do everything I need to do. But it is a little bit, you kind of lose that spontaneity, or if an idea drops in right now, you can't necessarily always uh, give it attention in the moment. And so that's something I'm still learning, how to balance my ambition, my passion, my creativity with having a demanding child with me all the time.
And that's why I see you as such a leader, because it's not just about building your brand, but it's about building a life that can hold all of what you love, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think just one more piece here. I think if life becomes all about work, and even a business or a mission that's about other people in the world, but you don't prioritize your own joy and happiness and family, which I think is the most important thing, I think years and years and years down the line, you'll be lonely or you can have regret. So, although it's difficult right now, and I wish I had more time to myself, it's also really beautiful and sacred and special.
100%. And I will tell you this, that those little ones grow up so fast, Erin. I mean, I'm in the season of my little ones are grown up and having babies now. And I think, when as a grandparent, I know how fast it goes, and so I want to make sure I get that time in with family, with babies. So it's good to hear you saying that at such a young age. So one of your offers is literally called Be Seen, Get Paid. I love that because I like I'm a straight shooter. I like things to be very clear. Be seen, get paid. That's awesome, and I think that it's such a clean statement. What do women most? What do you think women most misunderstand about visibility and money?
Money is a byproduct of authenticity. And when you're vibrating in your authentic soul's calling to be a leader, it comes with being seen. So I see them as being interconnected. And if you want more money, but you don't want to be in your authenticity, then it's not going to happen. Because if being seen is a part of your mission and you're avoiding that, or you're fearing that, or you're pushing it away, then simultaneously you're repelling money. So most of the women that I work with, they are here to be seen because they have something really important to say, not from an egoic place. It's because the lives that they've lived, the experiences that they've had, so many people would benefit from being in their energy or from having them as a reflection. And so being seen is connected to more money. And when they block the visibility, they block the money.
And that is for all of you light workers out there who are still freezing at the doorway. Why do you think, Erin, there's still so many gifted women that still hide?
It's usually it usually has a ton to do with how they think other people will perceive them. Their significant other, their parents, their family, their peers, their colleagues. And I do a little exercise and I want to share it because it's quick and anybody can do this for themselves. Think of the top 3 people that if they saw you in your full radiance and authenticity, if they saw you, you would just cringe or you would just be silent or you would be so afraid that they saw you. And imagine you're on stage and they're watching you, they're witnessing you in that authenticity. Sit in it, overcome it, demystify what it feels like in your body when these people see you. And then you start taking your power back little by little.
Wow. Was there ever a time that you were afraid to have people see you?
Oh, absolutely. When I first started this business, I would do a ton of Instagram lives, so live channelings, and I would answer questions, channel Q&A. And I started to notice that people would tune in to the lives from my other personal page. So I'm like, how are they even following this Instagram account? And you want to know something funny? I would remove them from following that Instagram account. And do you know every single person would refollow me? So what it taught me was I was thinking they're not ready for this. It's too uncomfortable for me to have them see me in this. And then it clicked. And I heard Spirit say so very clearly, you don't know who you're here to activate. And from that moment forward, I just got over it. I can't control who needs to see me. I can't possibly imagine who the universe is connecting with me because I have a little piece of something they need for their own awakening. And this goes back to what I was saying in the beginning about it's not about me.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of women can hear that. Isn't it funny how it always comes back to something so simple? Our minds will make it so complex, but when you just bring it back to this isn't about me, that's so simple, right? Okay, so your website talks about helping women awaken spiritual gifts, embody divine feminine leadership, and expand soul-aligned businesses. How do you personally define power now?
I see power as the ability to create the reality you desire because we don't all desire the same thing. The lifestyle we want, how we want to utilize our time, what we want to be doing. It's all differently. Or it all looks differently. So power to me is the ability to identify what you want and be unapologetic about it and create it and live it and be it fully.
So how, because one of the problems I see often is that so many women, they don't know what they want. They just don't have that clarity. How do you talk to somebody like that or work with women like that?
Mhm. I see this all the time. There are multiple desires. And so when we can't focus on one thing, there's not enough energy moving in one direction to create momentum. And women will always tell me, but I have so many ideas and there's so many things that I want and there's so many things that I want to do. And I say, can we just focus on one of them? The one, what's standing out to you the most? And this is how you identify it. Which one feels more fun? Not the one that your mind is going to say, I need to do that to make more money, or I need to do that because it's realistic. Which one in your heart, in your being, you feel that as a vibration and you go, that's it. Okay, now let's put some action, some energy behind it. And then it creates so much momentum that eventually you may be able to focus on another side quest or something like that.
Yeah, the truth is we don't have enough time and energy to get it. It spreads out our energy, right? And then we can't really get that momentum going that you need to get your business up and running. I've seen so many people quit. I like to say 3 feet from success, you know? And it's so funny because it feels like the minute you feel like quitting, if you could just flip that and understand that you're so close to a breakthrough, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, I want to ask a question about support without making it weird, right? Um, I know there was a point where you were exploring business support behind the scenes, and especially with becoming a new mommy. And I think that that's such a human conversation for high capacity women, women who are doing so much. You know, when you get to a point where you're like, I need help, right? And also as independent women, like giving ourselves permission to actually ask for help. How do you decide what you must personally hold and what you're finally willing to let yourself be supported in?
This is such a hard thing, and I'm still working through it because when you have a business, it's your baby, and you want things to be executed in the way that you would do it. And that's just not reality. And I think high capacity women have to recognize that in order to expand and have the impact that you desire, asking for help is inevitable because there's only so many hours in a day. There's only so much that you can personally do. And the more that you try to do and take on yourself, the quality will actually diminish. So you hit a threshold or a point in business where you quite literally have to outsource and allow in help. And so for anyone who's struggling with this or wondering, is it time for me to ask for more support or allow more support? Well, how you know is if you want to help more people, do you have the capacity to do it? Or are you actually limited in how many lives you can change because you're doing too much? So there came a point in time where I said, I would love if I could just show up more and teach and be with people and serve and not doing this and this and this and this and this. So I have to be receptive to help, and I have to trust that there's someone or people who are a vibrational match to my intention and they can help me.
Yes. And is that something that you feel in your body? Like how does that show up?
You mean when it's time to ask for help?
Yeah, yeah. When it's time, and also when it's a resonating match for you.
Yeah.
How does it show up?
So, firstly, with knowing if it's time to ask for help, you have a desire to do more teaching, more. You want to just show up, hop on camera, talk to your people, engage with your community, but you find that you're being limited because you need time to uh, flow energy in the back end. That's when I would say, okay, it's time to start building a team. Now, I've found that building a team is one of the most prevalent challenges in scaling or expanding a business. That's actually been one of the biggest challenges for me because people will vibrate in and out, right? It can be in resonance and then it's not in resonance, or there's a lot of moving pieces and energy, and I expand so fast that it's hard to hone in on people who can sustain that expansion with me. But usually when it comes to hiring or onboarding someone, it's just my soul knows. I just feel it. And I'm not a big resume person in a sense. If I want to see all the credentials, for me, it's more of an energetic credential. It could be the way that they approach everyday life. So I usually ask, this is like my qualifier. On a scale from 1 to 10, so your happiness meter, how happy are you? I like to hire people that are happy, and then we take it from there. Those are my people.
Yeah. Yeah. And have you always trusted that level of inner knowing?
I would say so. It's just something in my body that happens when I know that I'm supposed to work with someone. It's like I just light up. I'm like, okay, yes, let's do it. And even if it's going to be temporary, right? There's still a reason why the universe is putting us together.
Right. And that is powerful, like understanding that there are no mistakes, you know? So, okay, I mentioned this earlier and I'm going to say it again because I just think you are such a beautiful woman and you have like this striking presence. And people see beauty and glamour and power and certainty, I think, when they look at you. How do you stay rooted in who you actually are instead of getting pulled into people's projections? I mean, what keeps you honest?
It is my deep, deep desire to witness people heal and experience source energy, what I call source energy, God, creator of the universe, that love for themselves. And so nothing about anything that I've built has ever been about me. Yes, I love beautiful visuals and I've always had an affinity for nice presentation and things of that sort, but really, I don't even think that's not at my forefront. My forefront is how can I get more people remembering who they are, and that keeps me humble and grounded. Um, and that's what I teach. That's what I teach my students who they want to lead their own mission work, their own ministry. And I always say, focus on the impact you want people to experience. Leave yourself out of it. That's like the theme today. It's not about you. Um, and yeah, that's how I approach this work.
That's perfect. That is so perfect. And in your world, Erin, whether it's the priestess portal, quantum healing, visibility work, or even your podcast, what do you think women are truly hungry for right now?
At the core, it's really self-love. If you want more money, if you want to attract your soulmate or the love of your life, if you're trying to get pregnant, all these things, you want more travel. At the core of it, you just want a feeling. And so I always teach that you have access to that feeling right now, and it begins with how you feel about you. And the thing about accomplishing the vibration of self love is that it makes you a magnet to everything, anyways. It's we just want to feel love through these experiences, through these interactions, through what we think money can help us experience in the world. It's just a feeling we're looking for. And learning how to create that now is the key.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of learning how to create that now, when you look ahead, what do you see for the future, for your work, your family, your voice, your legacy?
Yeah. Opening this spiritual wellness center has really expanded me. And I want more places of community where people can gather. And so that's what I'm starting to think about. I want to get around to writing a few books. I feel like I should have done it by now, but there's just been so much in my world. So I think books are really powerful to leave as legacy and places and spaces where people can come for healing and connection.
And this feels like the perfect doorway into our microwave moment. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Don't overthink it. Just give me the first truth that rises for you. Okay. When I say integrity, you say,
Self worth,
love it. Okay. When I say money, you say,
fun,
when I say impact, you say,
love,
when I say visibility, you say,
rock star,
okay. And the last one, just for you, when I say motherhood, you say,
Eternal.
Oh, those are beautiful, Erin. And that was so rich. I mean, that was just so perfect. Well, Erin, I want to say thank you for this. I mean, truly, this has been a really great conversation. And I knew your presence was powerful. It's been great having you on some of our other productions. You're always an amazing guest. What I appreciate even more now is the depth behind you. I mean, the ability to have this conversation, the thoughtfulness, the clarity that you bring to the world, and the honesty about what it truly means to hold purpose, visibility, success, and motherhood all at the same time. You're such a beautiful example that a woman can be glamorous and grounded, spiritual and strategic, and still clear and ever expanding. And I know our light workers are going to take so much away from this podcast. So thank you for being here. Thank you for saying yes to the call. And thank you for the way you lead.
Thank you so much, Joy and team. It is always such a pleasure to work with you all. Just such a high vibration and pure heart. So thank you for having me.
All right, you are so welcome. And go love on that baby for us too.
Yes,
And
I
keep being
will.
fabulous. All right, we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye. Okay, first of all, phew. I mean, that was one of those conversations where you can actually feel the voltage. And what stayed with me most is this. Power doesn't have one age or one look or one perfect path. Some women arrive in their clarity early, and some women claim it after decades of becoming. Both are sacred. So if you're watching Erin and thinking, wow, she's so clear and so visible, so beautiful, let that inspire you, not intimidate you. Let it activate your own lane. Because like she said, it's not about you. Because the truth over here is still the truth. You're never too young to lead with soul, and you're never too old to build something extraordinary. And for my light workers especially, this matters. Your mission does not get smaller because life changes. It just gets more honest. It gets more anchored in what actually matters. So if this episode stirred something in you and you know you are here to be seen, to lead, and to make a real impact, and to build a business that matches the magnitude of your calling, then Lightworker, $1 Million Lightworker is where we go deeper. MDL is for the woman who has done playing small with her purpose. It's for the woman who wants the business and the visibility and the sales and the spiritual integrity to all live in the same house. And if MDL feels a little too big for you, for where you are right this second, that's exactly why we created Conscious Creator Circle. CCC is your softer landing place. So go where your next yes lives, but go. And until next time, keep bringing your light, keep honoring your time, and keep remembering who you are, Lightworker.